Lastly, Senator for Nairobi City.
You know, Speaker, I don't understand the anxiety from some of our colleagues. I don't know what we have said or done to make them believe that we cannot be persuaded. I am personally here to be persuaded by the arguments that are advanced on this floor. And Speaker, if you remember the first time that this matter was supposed to be on the order paper, you gave a communication to say that you wanted opportunity for this House to talk within itself so that we avoid the acrimony of the last formula. And we all agreed. And the Finance Committee, to their credit, they have organized forums for us to be able to have this conversation twice, including this morning, and I didn't see my deputy party leader in that meeting. So if and the way forward that has been given by the majority leader, I think is going to solve the problem for us. Let us hear from the committee. Let us hear from everybody, Honorable Speaker. Let us try to persuade each other. But what I don't like personally, Honorable Speaker, is people playing cards under the table. And the good thing is that Senator Osotsi knows me. That immediately I feel like you're trying to be clever with me, Honorable Speaker, I become a bit upset. So I feel like there's people who have an agenda that they don't want to disclose. Let them persuade us here. We are amenable to be persuaded, and Osotsi knows that, Honorable Speaker. I thank you.
You know, Honorable Senators, let us make progress on this matter. Indeed, Senator Osotsi, you had the opportunity to speak. Allow the chair to give the way forward. If you remember, Honorable Senators, when this matter came first, I listened to the concerns of Honorable Senators then, and we agreed that it was important for us to engage and engage more substantively before this particular motion was moved. Now, it is over 1 month since I made that communication. That means we had ample time to engage, consult, and try to see if we can have a give and take so that once this matter is tabled, we do not have the acrimonious environment like it was witnessed sometimes back. Now, that opportunity was made available to you. No senator here can say they were rushed, they were not given an opportunity to consult, to engage, to persuade. That opportunity was indeed made available to all of us. Now, Honorable Senators, even if we are to allow for more consultation for maybe 6 months, we will still have some dissenting voices. I don't think we'll be able to strike a 100% agreement in this formula. And therefore, what remains is, as what the Senator for Nairobi City has just said, persuade your colleagues on the floor of this House. In any event, Honorable Senators, I did not want to rule the Senator for Vihiga out of order, but to some extent, what he brought forward is in breach of our standing orders. It is anticipating over debate because the motion is yet to be moved, and here we are actually debating the motion before it was moved. So let's allow the motion to be moved. All these good arguments that I've just listened to, let them be put forward as you debate this motion. Try to persuade your colleagues on the position that maybe you individually hold, and depending on your power of persuasion, we may swing one way or the other. So at this juncture, allow the chairman to move the motion, and then we engage in debate. Proceed, Chairman.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for that guidance. Pursuant to Standing Order 62 of the Senate Standing Orders, I beg to move that the motion in an amended form, that the Senate notes the report of the Standing Committee on Finance and Budget on the fourth basis for allocation of share of national revenue among the counties, laid on the table of the Senate on Thursday, 17th April 2025, and that pursuant to Article 2171 of the Constitution, approves the fourth basis of allocation of share of nationally raised revenue among the counties for the financial year 2025-2026 to 2029-2030 as follows. County allocation baseline ratio of 387.25, which is translated into a factor, plus 2 billion shared equally among identified 11 counties that are receiving less money, plus 45% of whatever that will be above 387.425 to be shared using population, 35% to be shared as equal share index, 12% to be shared using poverty index, and 8% to be shared using geographical size index. Then that additional to the baseline will come to 389.425, where the baseline ratio is the allocation factor derived from each county's allocation for the financial year 2024-2025. The 11 counties identified are Elgeyo Marakwet, Embu, Isiolo, Kirinyaga, Laikipia, Lamu, Nyamira, Samburu, Taita Taveta, Tharaka Nithi, and Vihiga. The population index is based on 2019 Kenya Population and Housing Census data. The poverty index is based on 2022 Kenya Poverty Report by the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, KNBS, and the geographical size is capped at 10%. Mr. Speaker, Article 2171 of the Constitution of Kenya provides that once every 5 years, the Senate shall, by resolution, determine the basis of allocating among counties the share of nationally raised revenue annually allocated to the county level of government. Further, Article 2161 of the Constitution provides that the principal function of the Commission on Revenue Allocation is to make recommendations concerning the basis of equitable share of revenue raised by the national government between the national and county government and among the county governments using CARA. Mr. Speaker, CRA has forwarded their recommendation to the committee, and this committee, Mr. Speaker, has engaged a lot of stakeholders after we have received the recommendations of CRA, including the National Treasury, Commission on Revenue Allocation, Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, Council of Governors, the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Kenya, Budgeti Hub, the County Assembly of Bomet Budget Office on behalf of Mr. Bernard Rono, Estella Chimutai, and Nixon Kirui, the Budget Talk Global, the Institute of Public Finance, Achievers of Kenya, Coastal People Forum, and Mr. John Kangani. Mr. Speaker, during the deliberations, the committee made various observations that the fourth basis recommended by CRA incorporated a new parameter called the stabilization factor. According to the CRA, this factor was introduced to ensure that no county loses any money from what they are getting in the current year, 2024-2025. However, it will be prudent to address transitional effect from one basis to another using scientifically generated deviation parameter. Mr. Speaker, sir, that the data used to generate the income distance index, GCP, is not directly derived from each county, but rather the Kenyan National Bureau applies a top-down approach to determine each county's contribution to GDP. Further, the approach used by CRA to determine the index is similar to the level of poverty gap in a particular county when compared to Nairobi City County. Additionally, using Nairobi City County as a reference point makes it difficult to assign an index to this reference that is specific to the county. Mr. Speaker, we have engaged these stakeholders and we have picked their input at various levels. The underlying issue that the committee was faced with, Mr. Speaker, is that when we converged on consultation about this in the presence of CRA in Naivasha, the committee was guided by the whole Senate, that the people who attended that meeting in Naivasha. The guidance from the Senate was that principle number one, no county should lose money from what they are currently getting. That is principle number one. Principle number two, whatever that is over and above 387.425, that each county must gain marginally or equitably from any figure above 387.425. Mr. Speaker, in order for the committee to arrive at a position that is in conformity with the principle that was agreed upon by the Senate, we had to get the third basis of revenue sharing and convert that into a factor of allocation in order to safeguard what each county is currently getting. Meaning, we held 387.425 to a factor for each county based on the third basis of revenue allocation. And next, we had to come up with parameters on how to share what is over and above 387.425. At this juncture, Mr. Speaker, it's worthwhile to note that the National Assembly has already approved division of revenue, and they have approved that at 405 billion. Mr. Speaker, sir, it's also worthwhile to note that the Senate of the Republic of Kenya has also approved DORA at 465 billion. Mr. Speaker, it's very important maybe for the nation to know that for us as the Senate to arrive at a figure of 465.425, we are informed by non-discretionary expenditures that has come as an addition to what the counties have been receiving, arising from legislations that are passed by Parliament at the national level. Mr. Speaker, these non-discretionary expenditures include housing levy deductions amounting to 4.1 billion, enhanced contributions to NSSF amounting to 6 billion, matching allocation to CAIPs, County Aggregated Industrial Parks, amounting to 11.8 billion, matching allocation for community health promoters amounting to 3.23 billion, annual wage increment, that is wage thrift, amounting to 6.3 billion, basic salary increment as per the Dr. CBA number 217/21 execution of return to formula that amounts to 3.5 billion. Mr. Speaker, that coupled with the fact that the shareable revenue of the government of Kenya has been increasing gradually. The last meaningful increase for county government has happened in the financial year 2020-2021, when the last third basis of revenue sharing was happening. Mr. Speaker, that time the shareable revenue increased from 316 to 370 billion. Thereafter, Mr. Speaker, it's worthwhile to note that the shareable revenue has only marginally increased from 370. The following year, it remained at 370. Those are the COVID year. And thereafter, it moved from 370 to 385. And now it has moved from 385 to 387.425. The cumulative increase over the 5 years for county governments from shareable revenue amounts to a total of about 70 billion shilling. When you compare that to shareable revenue increase of national government, which over those 5 years is 770 billion shilling, which translates to about 10%. That is the wisdom that informed the Senate to pass DORA at 465 billion, so that these senators do not fight over the formula and what counties get, but we fight to get more shareable revenue in order to make sure that most concerns that the senators have can be addressed. Mr. Speaker, it is also in the consultation shared by my colleagues, Senator Sifuna and Senator Wambua, and the majority leader. We've had 2 consultation periods as guided by yourself. The committee plus the secretariat have availed themselves. The essence of those meetings was for us to consult and to arrive at and address if there's any thorny issue that may come up, in order to maybe cushion, based on the experience of the third basis of revenue sharing, to cushion the country from the drama of the Senate, in order to make sure that we carry each other along the entire 47 counties. This morning, Mr. Speaker, in consultation with the people who attended, that about 13, we arrived at a position where the smaller counties that I've mentioned of Elgeyo Marakwet, Embu, Isiolo, Kirinyaga, Laikipia, Lamu, Nyamira, Samburu, Taita Taveta, Tharaka Nithi, and Vihiga, that there is some challenge for these counties to remain viable if they do not get a little bit of cushion effect. The proposal that came in, which now is the property of the House, Mr. Speaker, is that we set aside within the formula 2 billion shilling to be shared equally among these 11 counties in order to carry everybody along. Mr. Speaker, the committee of the Senate Standing Committee on Finance and Budget, have carried this responsibility on behalf of the entire Senate. The committee members, despite representing their respective counties, I, as the chair, could not allow them to speak on behalf of their counties and a situation that is favorable to their counties, because we have to carry the 47 county governments in the proposals that we make. And similarly, this Senate should not be, clouded in the situation where everybody will try and push a situation that specifically favors their specific county. Rather, we really need to look at how do we carry these 47 counties, whose responsibility as the Senate of the Republic of Kenya we bear as the Senate, and we've sworn to uphold. And that does not mean that simply means we are collectively responsible for the 47 counties and individually responsible for the oversight and other mandates. As we engage, Mr. Speaker, and as I move this motion, it's important to inform my colleagues that the moment, if I take a perfect case example, for purposes of just carrying each other along, this morning when we had the engagement, and I listened to about 8 members of the Senate who spoke, each member has tried to speak in favor of a situation that he or she believes favors his county, by way of saying the variables that we have considered, can you change this from this number to this, and this number to this, and this number to this, oblivious of the reality of the fact that as the committee, once we've tabled this report, we have no further mandate to be able, even in consultation, to amend the numbers in favor of a given county. Rather, it is our prerogative as a committee on behalf of the Senate to carry everybody along and get a formula that is not perfect. We can never get a formula that's perfect. If that was the case, Mr. Speaker, sir, I would have fought for 14% on poverty and 9% on geographical size, because Mandera would have fallen in that bracket when that favor will be considered. But to carry everybody along and to make sure that we are not, short-sighted from the perspective of just only looking at what is going to be beneficial to my county or this other county. The honorable senators who are members of this committee, I have guided and they have listened, and I've prevailed upon them to make sure that they understand this is a very controversial issue. It's very important that from even the proposal, before this becomes the property of the House, for the House to either accept it, amend it, or decide to do what they do with it. From the face value of our presentation, we should position and present ourselves as extremely fair and in conformity with the guidance that we were given in Naivasha by the Senate. Mr. Speaker, sir, as I conclude, I would like to report that both the principles that we were given as a guide in Naivasha of no county should lose anything from what they're getting now. And remember, the controversy of the third basis of revenue sharing was largely because there were so many counties losing substantive amount of money. And counties, just like people who are salaried, once you are given certain amount of money, you learn to plan with that certain amount. And a reduction will be extremely unfair because it's going to put counties in spin. So it's the onus is upon the Senate to make sure that that guidance we've taken is upheld by way of making sure no county loses anything from what they were getting, and that the formula is taken care of. And whatever that is over and above 387.425, and now we are from the amended perspective 389.425, with a cushioning of about 11 smaller counties. We believe that goes further to address, and every county will marginally or equitably benefit, while we also take care of these smaller counties. Mr. Speaker, I beg to move and request Senator Kalwale to second. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Boni, you may proceed to second.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise to second this motion as moved by the chair of the Finance and Budget Committee, the Senator of Mandera, who fortunately for us in this Senate is actually a national party leader, and therefore, like many national party leaders, has a global view, not just on the politics of the country, but also on the need to carry all the people of Kenya along on a very sensitive issue like sharing the commonwealth of the Republic of Kenya. I therefore want to congratulate him for moving the motion, and Mr. Speaker, together with my colleagues in the committee, I would like to plead with this Senate that it was without prejudice that we arrived at the current formula. And I would be very grateful if you joined us in allowing this formula to share revenue in the Republic for the next 5 years or so. But in so saying, Mr. Speaker, it doesn't mean, colleagues, that we are emotionally attached to this formula. No, not in any way. In fact, if I was to be emotionally attached to this formula, I would be attached to the formula that allows Kakamega to capitalize on its population size. That way, quickly we get more money than most of the counties because Nairobi, Kakamega, Kiambu, and Nakuru are the largest counties population-wise. Mr. Speaker, I was happy at attempt 1, Kamukunji 1, Kamukunji 2 this morning, to hear members speak emotively. That is the way it should be. We were not brought here to fight for any position that does not favor the counties that voted us into this Senate. So when you see, for example, the Senator of Nyamira, who happens to be my Mokoyone, speak with the passion he did, it is because, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, that is loud consultation.
Senator for Kakamega, you've chosen English. Stick to English, please. The other alternative is Kiswahili. And I don't think the word you've just uttered is either Kiswahili or English.
Mr. Speaker, I agree with you fully. But somewhere I read and somewhere I heard that the Speaker does not see, the Speaker does not hear, he's only moved by plenary. Mr. Speaker, I submit. I submit your guidance.